Welcome to today's episode, where we'll be exploring one of the most significant periods in human history, the Industrial Revolution. Beginning in the late 18th century and continuing into the 19th century, the Industrial Revolution marked a turning point in history as new technologies and innovations transformed economies, societies, and the very fabric of daily life. From the rise of factories and mass production to the rapid growth of cities and the emergence of new social classes, the Industrial Revolution laid the foundation for the modern world. But what sparked this era of unprecedented change? How did it reshape the world we live in today? Join me as we delve into the causes, key developments, and far-reaching impacts of the Industrial Revolution. To understand the Industrial Revolution, we must first consider the conditions that made it possible. The revolution began in Britain in the late 18th century, but its roots can be traced back to earlier developments. One key factor was the agricultural revolution, which saw significant improvements in farming techniques and crop yields. The introduction of crop rotation, selective breeding of livestock, and new tools like the seed drill led to an increase in food production, which in turn supported a growing population. Another important factor was the availability of capital and the rise of a wealthy merchant class. The expansion of trade, particularly with the colonies, had generated significant wealth in Britain, and this capital was ready to be invested in new industries. The financial sector, including banks and stock exchanges, also played a crucial role in funding industrial ventures. Additionally, Britain was rich in natural resources, particularly coal and iron ore, which were essential for powering and building the new machines and factories. The availability of navigable rivers and a well-developed network of roads and canals facilitated the transportation of raw materials and finished goods, further supporting industrial growth. Finally, the spirit of innovation and scientific inquiry that characterized the Enlightenment provided the intellectual foundation for the technological advances that would drive the Industrial Revolution. Inventors, engineers, and scientists were eager to apply new knowledge to practical problems, leading to a wave of technological innovations that would transform industries and economies. The Industrial Revolution was marked by a series of groundbreaking inventions and innovations that revolutionized production processes and created new industries. One of the most significant inventions was the steam engine, developed by James Watt in the 1760s. Watt's improvements to earlier steam engines made them more efficient and powerful, allowing them to be used in a wide range of applications, from pumping water out of mines to powering factories and locomotives. The textile industry was one of the first to be transformed by the Industrial Revolution. The invention of machines like the spinning jenny, the water frame, and the power loom dramatically increased the speed and efficiency of textile production. Factories, or mills, were established to house these machines, and they quickly became the centers of production, replacing the traditional cottage industry. The iron and steel industry also underwent significant changes during this period. The development of the puddling process by Henry Cort in the 1780s allowed for the mass production of high-quality iron, which was essential for building machinery, railways, and bridges. The Bessemer process, introduced in the 1850s, further revolutionized steel production, making it faster and more economical to produce large quantities of steel. The rise of the factory system brought about a shift from hand craftsmanship to machine-based production. This not only increased output but also lowered the cost of goods, making them more accessible to a wider population. However, it also led to the concentration of labor in factories, where workers often faced harsh conditions, long hours, and low wages. The Industrial Revolution had profound social implications, reshaping the lives of millions of people. One of the most significant changes was the rapid urbanization that accompanied industrialization. As factories were established in cities and towns, people flocked from rural areas in search of work. This led to the growth of large industrial cities, such as Manchester, Birmingham, and Glasgow, which became hubs of economic activity. However, the rapid growth of cities also brought about a host of challenges. Overcrowded and unsanitary living conditions were common in the new industrial cities, leading to the spread of diseases and high mortality rates. The lack of adequate housing, clean water, and proper sewage systems created a public health crisis that would take decades to address. The rise of the factory system also led to significant changes in the labor force. The demand for factory workers, including women and children, resulted in the exploitation of labor, with long working hours, dangerous conditions, and minimal pay. The harsh realities of factory life were vividly depicted by social reformers and writers, such as Charles Dickens, who sought to raise awareness of the plight of the working class. At the same time, the Industrial Revolution gave rise to a new social class, the industrial bourgeoisie, or the factory owners and entrepreneurs who accumulated significant wealth from their ventures. This new class began to challenge the traditional aristocracy for social and political influence, leading to shifts in the power dynamics of society. The working class, or proletariat, also emerged as a distinct social group during this period. The conditions of industrial labor led to the formation of labor unions and the rise of the labor movement, as workers sought to improve their wages, working conditions, and rights. The struggle between capital and labor would become a defining feature of industrial society, leading to significant social and political changes. While the Industrial Revolution began in Britain, its impact quickly spread to other parts of Europe and the world. By the early 19th century, industrialization had taken hold in countries such as Belgium, France, and Germany. These nations adopted British technologies and methods, while also developing their own innovations. In the United States, the Industrial Revolution took off in the early 19th century, driven by the availability of natural resources, a growing population, and a spirit of innovation. The American textile industry, centered in New England, was one of the first to industrialize, followed by the iron, steel, and railroad industries. The construction of the Transcontinental Railroad in the 1860s connected the eastern and western parts of the country, facilitating the movement of goods and people and spurring further industrial growth. In Japan, the Meiji Restoration of the late 19th century marked the beginning of rapid industrialization. The Japanese government actively promoted the adoption of Western technologies and practices, leading to the development of modern industries and infrastructure. Japan's successful industrialization transformed it into a major global power by the early 20th century. The spread of industrialization also had a profound impact on the global economy and international relations. The demand for raw materials, such as cotton, coal, and rubber, led to the expansion of European colonial empires in Africa, Asia, and the Americas. The industrial powers sought to secure access to these resources, leading to the exploitation of colonies and the subjugation of indigenous populations. At the same time, industrialization contributed to the rise of global trade and the integration of markets. The development of steamships, railways, and telegraphs facilitated the movement of goods, people, and information across vast distances, creating a global network of economic and cultural exchange. The Industrial Revolution not only transformed human societies but also had a profound impact on the natural environment. The shift from agrarian economies to industrial production led to significant changes in land use, resource consumption, and pollution. The expansion of factories, mines, and infrastructure required vast amounts of natural resources, such as coal, timber, and water. The extraction and use of these resources led to deforestation, soil degradation, and the depletion of natural habitats. The rise of industrial agriculture, with its emphasis on monoculture and mechanization, further altered the landscape and contributed to the loss of biodiversity. The widespread use of coal as an energy source had a particularly significant impact on the environment. Coal-powered factories and locomotives released large amounts of smoke and soot into the air, leading to air pollution and health problems in industrial cities. The burning of coal also contributed to the increase in greenhouse gases, laying the groundwork for the global climate change challenges we face today. Water pollution was another major issue during the Industrial Revolution. Factories often discharged waste products directly into rivers and streams, contaminating water supplies and harming aquatic ecosystems. The growth of industrial cities also put a strain on water resources, leading to issues of water scarcity and sanitation. The environmental impact of the Industrial Revolution sparked some of the earliest concerns about sustainability and conservation. As the negative effects of industrialization became more apparent, a number of thinkers, scientists, and activists began to advocate for the responsible use of resources and the protection of the natural environment. These early environmental movements laid the foundation for the conservation efforts of the 20th and 21st centuries. The Industrial Revolution left an indelible mark on the world, shaping the modern era in countless ways. It revolutionized production, transportation, and communication, laying the foundation for the technological advancements of the 20th and 21st centuries. The economic impact of the Industrial Revolution was profound. The shift to industrial production and the rise of capitalism transformed economies, leading to the growth of consumer culture, the expansion of global trade, and the rise of multinational corporations. The industrial capitalist system also gave rise to economic inequalities, both within and between nations, that continue to shape global relations today. Socially, the Industrial Revolution brought about significant changes in class structure, labor relations, and urban life. The rise of the working class and the labor movement had a lasting impact on social and political developments, including the expansion of workers' rights, the establishment of labor laws, and the growth of democratic movements. Culturally, the Industrial Revolution influenced art, literature, and philosophy. The experiences of industrialization, urbanization, and social change were reflected in the works of writers, artists, and thinkers who sought to make sense of the new industrial world. The Romantic movement, for example, emerged as a reaction to the perceived dehumanization and environmental degradation of industrial society. The technological innovations of the Industrial Revolution also had a lasting impact on science and engineering. The development of new machinery, materials, and processes laid the groundwork for the scientific and technological advancements that would follow, from the invention of the telephone to the development of computers and the Internet. The Industrial Revolution was a transformative period in history that reshaped the world in profound and lasting ways. It brought about unprecedented economic growth, technological innovation, and social change, but it also introduced new challenges, including environmental degradation, economic inequality, and the exploitation of labor. As we look back on the Industrial Revolution, we are reminded of the complex interplay between progress and its consequences. The innovations of this period laid the foundation for the modern world, but they also highlighted the need for responsible and sustainable development. The lessons of the Industrial Revolution continue to resonate today as we navigate the challenges of globalization, technological advancement, and environmental stewardship. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Industrial Revolution. I hope this exploration has given you a deeper understanding of this pivotal period in history and the ways in which it continues to influence our world today.